Hey, I'm Kyle. This is Theology Definitions, and today we're going to talk about faith.
If using the word, I don't think it means what you think it means.
No idea what you said.
What's that supposed to mean?
What does that mean, child?
Does that mean something to you?
I know what this means.
What does it mean?
Okay. So what does this mean?
I hear the phrase people of faith all the time when political pundits talk about the religious voting blocks. They talk about the proclivity of people of faith to vote a certain way or have a certain opinion. More often I hear people say that they're not really a person of faith because they believe in reason or science. And honestly, it annoys me because there isn't such a thing as somebody who doesn't have faith. What changes is what they have faith in. In his famous This Is Water convocation address, David Foster Wallace said, "In the day-to-day trenches of adult life, there is no such thing as atheism." And he's right. We are always worshiping something. We are always putting our faith in something. Wait. What do you mean? Hey, it's my inner skeptic. Glad you could join us. To put it another way, faith is how we know what we can trust, what we can believe, what we can stand on. Metaphorically, I mean, although I guess literally too. It's a whole field in philosophy called epistemology, the study of truth and argumentation. Well, yeah, but let's not make this too complicated. There are arguments that are built on facts, and then there are some that are just blind faith. Bingo. Now, where did that term come from? What is blind faith? I suppose it's a concept that can be drawn from two biblical passages. The most famous, often seen as the Bible's definition of faith, is from Hebrews 11, verse 1. Faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. The other passage I was thinking about was 2 Corinthians 5, 7. For we walk by faith and not by sight. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is a huge problem I see with religion. You people convince yourself something is true despite no evidence. You're certain of things you don't see. And then you double down and keep going even when being rational shows you otherwise because you are walking by faith and not by sight. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I kind of thought you were going to defend your position a little bit, but okay, so are you telling me that you believe and always walk by what you see and never by faith? Yeah, that's kind of what being a skeptic is all about. So can you explain what a sunset is? Well, I know it looks beautiful and all that, but it's just the light of the sun being refracted into different colors as it lowers on the horizon. So the sun is moving? Well, no, I mean it appears to, but that's just our perception. Really, the earth is rotating. Wait, so your eyes are deceiving you? See, every day, in a multitude of ways, we are overriding what our eyes are seeing because our vision and our understanding of what it shows us is fallible. Our perspective is not always correct, and to do that, we need to use a combination of faith and reason. Faith is like a chair. You can never know whether it will actually hold you until you sit on it. But most of the time, you can be reasonably sure that a chair won't buckle under you. To sit on a chair that is obviously weak and expect it to hold you is actually blind faith. And honestly, it's fairly stupid. But to say that kind of faith is the only kind of faith is ludicrous. Like I said, any argument requires faith. There is no such thing as a worldview without any assumptions. And it doesn't matter whether we're framing the standard model of physics or trying to articulate Christian theology. Whoa. Now you've gone too far. The standard model of physics doesn't make us believe that someone raised from the dead. No, of course it doesn't. But it does ask us to believe that an electron acts both as a particle and as a wave, something that makes absolutely no sense, but sure seems to be true. In the face of overwhelming evidence, we had to change our idea of how the universe works. And people weren't exactly expecting Jesus to rise from the dead. His followers were as surprised and confused as anyone. But in the face of overwhelming evidence, they came to believe that Jesus did in fact rise from the dead, and they ended up being killed for proclaiming Jesus' resurrection, which was either a fact that emboldened them so much that they were willing to die for it, or it was a lie that they made up for power or something, and they weirdly decided not to recant, even in the face of torture and death. More to your point, inner skeptic, you can't exactly live in the real world strictly on facts that are verified by the scientific method. Any epistemology requires assumptions that just can't be proven. We can, at best, deduce that they're logically sound, but we still must accept them by faith. Or take views about human rights or human society or interpersonal relationships. These just cannot be made by reason alone. Now, I'm not saying that this is bad, but it's unavoidable. And I'm not saying that each faith leap is equal, but rather it is impossible to live by reason alone. And even if it were possible, the fact that it would be right to do that would be a principle that we would have to accept by faith. So this battle royale between faith and reason is a dud. Far from being opposites, faith and reason have to work together. And while we're at it, let's tackle another battle royale: faith versus works. Now, on the one hand, we have to distinguish between faith and works. They are clearly not the same thing, but we also have to realize that they can't be separated. You can't have faith and not works. Okay, so my wife has this crazy theory about cold sores.
You know those sores that you get right on your lips?
She says if you start feeling a cold sore, what you need to do is stick your finger in your ear and really get some wax, and then begin to apply it to the cold. Anyway, so if you rub it onto the cold sore, the cold sore will go away. Crazy, right? Now, do I trust my wife? Absolutely. Do I think that she is right on this particular point? But do I tell her that I trust her advice? Yep. How will she know? Well, she knows if I trust her advice because I'll act on it. If I say I have faith in the remedy and I don't use it, I lie and the truth is not in me. But if I really believe her, I rub that waxy ear secretion on my lips. I hate that. Now, I could trick her by just pretending to do it, but the problem is that her crazy theory is right. It really does help. So if I happen to get a cold sore, she knows that I didn't trust her, because if I did and I used her silly methodology, I wouldn't get it. Okay, I think maybe the point here has gotten buried a little bit, but basically there is no such thing as faith without works. If you don't act on what you believe, you don't actually believe it. If I say vengeance is the Lord's and then my nights are consumed planning revenge, that shows that my faith isn't in God's vengeance, but in mine. I have faith, but not in what I say I do. Having faith in something is having trust in it. And this isn't actually completely disengaged from using our brain or our logic. Faith, whether it's rooted in God or in the fact that there is no God, helps us to weigh evidence and arrive at a conclusion. And those conclusions, whether they are what we say we believe or not, drive our actions.